when you're glazing your projects, probably want to put some newspaper down, but since these aren't very big, you don't even need newspaper. Here's just a piece of scrap paper. I'm just gonna put that down so I can protect the table, okay? Second, you're gonna need your glazes. Now, sometimes these lids are really hard to get off, and if they are, I've got a little hammer. You could take it on the edge of the table and just tap that lid, or you can run hot water on this and it should be able to open up, okay? So you can get that opened up, and then check out the glaze. Now, in here it's hard to see, but it's kind of hard, okay? So I'm gonna add a little bit of water to that. Now, here's another glaze that I have, and this is called tourmaline, okay? And what it is it's a matte glaze. So there's gloss glazes, and then there's also matte glazes. So a matte glaze, it doesn't have a shiny look to it, okay? Because some people don't like a shiny look. So keep that in mind. So I have a sample here, and the sample, if you look, it's dull here, okay? It's hard to see on the screen here. It's dull here, and it's shiny over here. And how did that happen? Well, on the back it says with glaze. So it's tourmaline, and then here it should say with clear glaze, okay? So I've got something called clear glaze, and what that is, it comes in a big jug like this. It's this great big jug here, okay? And it looks like Pepto-Bismol, it's pink. But it actually, after you fire it, it turns clear. So if you wanted your project to be this color, only clear, you would just put the clear glaze on it, okay? But if you're using this particular kind, which is tourmaline, and you're going, well, tourmaline's dull, but I like the color, but I want it to be shiny, what you do is you'd put 2 coats of this on, okay? Let it dry, and then as soon as it's dry, you can put a coat or 2 of this clear glaze over the top of it, okay? And then it'll be shiny. That's if you wanted it shiny, okay? So, a couple things. If right now you can kind of see inside here, maybe you can't because of the lights here. Let me just get the lights really quick here. It might make a little bit of a difference. We'll see. Okay. So you can kind of still can't see. I got a light here. Let's do this. There. You can see that it's a little bit hard in there. So what I'm going to do here is just put a little bit of water in here, just a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to take the handle of my brush and just kind of stir that up. So this might happen to yours. There's some along the edge here. I'm going to get that down inside of it. And stir that up like you're making, I don't know, pancake batter. Okay? You can see it's still pretty thick. It's not bad though. It's better than it was. It's a little bit thick there. You see that? Okay, so maybe just a hint more water, just a little bit more, okay? And then just get a paper towel and clean off this handle, okay? So now, putting my glaze on. In the drawers over here to the right of my desk, you're gonna find a bunch of brushes. And for example, this is a large flat brush. Flat means this part here is flat, as opposed to this brush here. This is round, so that's called a round. So this looks like a small or medium round brush. So get whatever you need for the size of your project, okay? If you're just gonna do this all one color, then you use a big brush, okay? You can get it covered pretty quick. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of this paint out of here, the glaze out of here, and I'm gonna brush that on top of my project, like so, and you're gonna find that this dries up pretty darn fast, like literally within a minute or 2 it'll be dry, okay? So I'm glazing my project. Now, what you wanna do though is avoid glazing the bottom, okay? Because we don't need the bottom glazed, because if you glaze the bottom, I have to put it on little stilts. But if you want to glaze the bottom, you can. Like if you're actually going to make a mug like this and you think, hey, I want to drink out of this mug. I want to use it at home. I want to put whatever, tea or coffee or something in it and drink out of it. Then glaze the whole bottom. And what I will do is I'll set it on, I have little stilts. They're like little pins that this sets on top of. So that way it won't fuse itself to the kiln shelf. Got that? Now another thing. When I load the kiln, I'll just make sure I don't do that. So I'm gonna do this and just give this at least 1 or 2 coats of glaze on the inside and outside. And obviously you can use more than one color, okay? So I can do this. Can you paint other colors over the top of your glaze? You can, but keep it in mind, if you try to want to put white over the top of green, it's not going to work, okay? But if you had white glaze and you want to come back in with a little green over the top, that would probably work because the green would be able to cover the white, okay? But now keep in mind, this isn't paint, okay? You know, when paint dries, it stays right where it is. But when glaze dries, what happens is it turns into like liquid, okay? So when the thing is getting fired, these crystals turn into liquid and actually flow down your mug a little bit. So let's say I had little eyes here and I painted those black, I glazed them black. There's a chance that those eyes might drip down a little bit. Got that? Just keep in mind, glaze is not like paint. So that's really it. So, you know, make sure that this stuff is thin enough. Just add a little water if you need to. And then that should probably be good for a while. You know, a month from now, maybe you got to add a little more water. Probably want to scrape off the extra stuff on the lid and get it down inside there. But that's really about it. So keep in mind, the clear glaze, though, you can always put clear glaze over the top of it. That'll make it shiny. But a lot of your glazes are gloss glazes, so they're already shiny. You don't need to put the clear on there. Got that? If you want it to be the color that this is already, but you just want it to be shiny, okay, just put clear glaze over the whole thing. It looks pink, but it's not pink, okay? It's clear. And also, it will get darker, though, if you put clear glaze on this. So keep in mind, it's kind of like, you know, if you pour like water on the cement gets a little darker while it's wet. Well, the same thing happens here. If I cover this with the clear glaze, as it soaks into this, it's going to make this is going to be more of a darker orange after it's fired than it is this color. Got that? That's really about it. So as soon as you're ready to glaze your stuff, anything that's up on that front table you can grab right now, and you could start glazing if you want to. Other than that, let's get your projects that need to be dried. Get them on those shelves up there that need to be dried, so that way the next time I fire, I'll probably do that in the middle of next week. I'll fire the next round of projects, okay? Last thing, on the shelves over there, it says the bottom two shelves says drying. The next shelf just above there, okay, says already fired once, ready to be glazed, okay? So what I do is I take it off the bottom shelf after it's fired, and I put it on the third shelf. That way you know, okay, this has been fired, it needs to be glazed. After you glaze it, you put it on the next shelf on top, which says has been glazed, needs to be fired a second time. Got that? So we kind of know the order of how things happen. Any questions at all? Yep.
If you want clear glaze over something, do you have to wait until it's fired first and then go over it again?
No, you could put it over right away.
Oh.
Okay?